Hello and welcome back to another new edition of Windows and Current Affairs. And amid a difficult fiscal scene, the upcoming economic conference, which is scheduled to be held this coming March, is coming at a very crucial time, and as the government is relying increasingly on growth prospects. As the time of the economic summit draws near, the government becomes under intense pressure to reform the environment or the business environment and improve the total economic outlook here in Egypt to be able to attract the foreign investment targeted. Today we're going to draw some questions like, what are the investment prospects to be showcased at the economic summit in the upcoming month, and will the summit succeed in presenting real opportunities to foreign investment in Egypt? And many, many more other questions to be awaiting answers from our prominent guest that is live here with us in the studio, Dr. Karim Hamza, Professor of Political Economy. Good evening, Dr. Hamza, and we'll start off with our question, not directly talking about the economic summit, but about defying terrorism. As the government or the Egypt is trying to defy terrorism, it focuses on improving the economic status of the country. And the Economic Development Conference, or the summit that is scheduled March 2015, will it showcase Egypt's economic reforms and investment potential to the world? What is expected to be offering to the foreign investment coming to us from the outside world?
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If we look as a macro scene or the global scene to Egypt, we need security plus economy plus political stability. Any dimension of this triangle, if it is not successful, this means that the other will not work. So if we need to strengthen our economy and to rise our economy, this means we should have a security foundation and we should have a political stability. As you see, as the summit date is reaching near, you will find that the terrorist attacks are increased because the enemies of the state or the enemies of Egypt willing to give a bad image to the Egyptian security or stability status in order to make the investment or the foreign investment be afraid to enter the Egyptian market. After the what you call it criminal attacks that happened from 2 weeks ago in Sinai, a couple of messages came from terrorists in Turkey asking all Egyptian foreigners living in Egypt to leave Egypt before the next month, otherwise there will be a target for terrorist attack. So this means that without security, economy will not revive. For this summit, the government have started very hardly, especially President Al-Fattah al-Sisi after 30 of June revolution, first to secure or maintain stability as much as he can inside. Then he tried to make different alliances outside with the neighboring country in order to give partial political stability. And the second phase was visiting different countries like Russia, China, Italy, France, and so on, in order to encourage this country to enter the summit. So he done his homework. Now the rest of the government have to work to encourage other companies and other countries to engage. We are expecting a lot of countries to be engaged. A lot of mega project is expected to be announced, especially in the infrastructure, especially in the power stations, especially in real estate, in the logistics area, especially in this New Suez Canal. All of this project will be announced in the coming few weeks after the summit. When the summit succeed, this will be like an incentive to the Egyptian market to work. So it will bringing foreign investment from outside to work to build infrastructure in the country. So factories will work, tourism will work, unemployment supposed to go down. Currently, our risk rate in IMF have been decreased, so somehow we are comparatively secured compared to the previous 2 years to invest. A lot of companies, when we attended British delegate when they visited Egypt from 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, there was over 52 companies attending this delegates, and a lot of companies are willing to participate. And when we visit in UK or France or Italy, a lot of companies are interested to come to Egypt. So the Egyptian economy is appealing, but still there is a risk factor, and we have to control this risk factor, because if this risk factor increased, that there is instability, there is no security, and so on, this means that this investment may go away. We are expecting countries and nations like China and Russia, when they come and support us in mega projects, especially China is offering to help us in building over 3,400 kilometers of roads. Imagine how it will help us. They are offering to help us in building the fast train, the bullet train. By the way, China is very advanced in trains and traffic and power station. Russia is going to support us in building the new nuclear power station in Dara.
Of course, we're going to touch on with Russia.
So all of this will be like an incentive to the economy. But political stability and security is a mandatory dimensions to make this economy cycle work properly.
Right, but in a speech that we remember to the World Economic Forum in Davos earlier, President Sisi invited investors in his speech to the upcoming economic summit in March, and he urged them to come and find the opportunities, what opportunities Egypt is offering to you foreign investors. He spoke of Egypt's government support for the private sector and creating a friendly investment environment for foreign investment. The man is so keen on attracting the foreign investment. Yes. If you could elaborate on that.
He is so keen, and he is hard-working compared to other part of the government, unfortunately, because
that's very important.
He is running in different countries. He is visiting different
countries. There are two parallel lines.
Okay, so his effort is opening the gate, but not finishing the process, because the rest of the stakeholders or the government parties are included, should support the president after he opens the gate for investment, that they should use a different mechanism or approaches to attract the companies. Still, the media outside is not properly promoting what is happening in Egypt, because they are not covering that we are recovering from instability, but when accident happened, all of the news are covering the accidents and showing that there is no stability and security in Egypt. When I go outside, especially in France or Germany, the news are somehow monopoly by some parties who are not in favor in supporting Egypt. So here the Egyptian media should work. I know that the foreign affairs of Egypt are working well, but there is different stakeholders in Egypt that can support.
You mean some domestic institutions?
Yeah, private sector,
bureaucracy,
corruption. All of them are making like an obstacle for working in this direction. But President Sisi have made a couple of jumps, that we can call it, in opening doors for economic and political cooperation with countries that we have been like in frozen age with them, like especially China and Russia. And you can see this with cooperation and the welcoming of China and Russia with President Sisi. And also we can see that most of the delegates who have visited Egypt in the last 3 months, all of them were very high level delegates, that they were willing to visit Egypt and see what is happening. The new Suez Canal project, inside we are aware of it, but when I go to different universities and places, especially in Belgium and Germany, they are not familiar why we are building a new Suez Canal. So I have to explain it. So the media is not reaching that we are investing and making mega projects because this is going to revive and open our economy. What I see from the agenda of President Sisi is that he proposed three main areas to attract foreign investment. The New Suez Canal area, the Golden Triangle.
We're going to touch
on Red Sea.
In detail. 15 mega projects that are worth
the area of west-north coast of Egypt. These strategic areas, which will be like attracting population from the delta, and at the same time opening new doors of economical development, attracting technology, attracting investment, all of this is a step ahead to revive our economy. But we have to put in mind that the return of these jumps will take some time, because building infrastructure, deploying new technologies, attracting investment and so on, this may take years. At the same time, the security dimension in the Middle East is not a favorable one, because you have turbulence in Libya, turbulence in Sinai, turbulence in Palestine.
With the exception of Egypt.
With the exception of